why the hell does intuition matter? Why do I bang on about it all of the time? In a world, a cosmos, a universe full of ideas and thoughts and practices and beliefs, why have I stuck my flag in the ground on this subject of intuition? It is the only thing that matters in terms of our spiritual evolution. What do I mean by that? Intuition, in its highest, deepest, truest form, which I call intuitive intelligence because it is our highest form of intelligence, is not about going to a psychic reader and getting them to tell you what you should do with your relationship or your finances. It's not about going to a healer and hoping that they'll find the conditions for you to come back into homeostasis. It is not about externalizing and giving away your power at all. Intuition in its truest form is the language of the cosmos, and that's why it matters before and after everything else. Anything we do on our spiritual journey is inherently interconnected with intuition, right? Because intuition is the language of the cosmos, right? So we are all trying to awaken our consciousness on this spiritual evolutionary journey to be more in communion with that unified field, with that quantum mind, with that God consciousness, whatever you call it. And intuition is the way that we do that. Intuition is the fourth dimension in action, right? So if we think of the fifth dimension as everything, unmanifest, it is pure consciousness, pure energy. What we do to manifest reality into material form, into the third dimension, happens through the fourth dimension. The fourth dimension is the bridge. It is thought, it is feeling, it is emotion, it is intuition. So as we direct our consciousness and align our consciousness with our intuition, we are drawing down from that field of unmanifest infinite potential into the third dimension of the material plane, exactly what we will then inherit in our lives, right? So we are constantly manufacturing our reality by the quality of our relationship to the fourth dimension and our capacity to know or not know how to direct it. Intuition is that inspiration. It is the creative connection. It is those moments where ideas land, where thoughts arise, where feelings are emboldened. And it is up to us to trust that intuitive knowing to take action around it. So for example, you wake up one day and you're like, I need to start my own business, right? I want to be of service in a particular kind of way. And you'll have all this creative energy, this inspiration, ideas will flow. That is your intuition. That is the fourth dimension. So this fourth dimension is not a one-way communication channel. It's not us just barking orders at the infinite, demanding that it manifest exactly what we want. And that's where we mostly get it wrong with this whole manifestation game, because we think that we are, from our egoic, limited selves, just going to be able to, use that God mind like a shopping list, like Santa Claus. It is a communication loop. So our intuition is us receiving the divine, God-given quantum consciousness into our reality so that we know what actions to take, when to take them, how to take them. That inspiration to start your own business, for example, that you wake up with one day is not just a random idea. It is that God-given message. And your job then is to keep tapping into that intuitive knowing to realize that Dharma, that highest purpose for your life. So if we think of the fourth dimension as like a hotline between us and the mind of God or infinite unlimited consciousness, we understand why intuition is the first, middle, last thing that we should be focusing on in the development of our spiritual evolution. Not intuition development so that we can go and predict someone's fortune or read their palm or draw a card for them. That is so out of date. That is the black magic of intuition, where we have externalized it, where we take someone else's sovereignty by tapping into their field and giving them information that might feel really, really accurate to you, but in fact is collapsing the wave function to a certain choice, a certain moment, a certain series of events. And all consciousness is in motion. It is constantly changing. So what you predict or see for someone one day might be completely inaccurate the next day. But they've already gone ahead and started manifesting from that because they believe you know more about them than they do. And this is just so dangerous and unethical. Intuition development in the Institute is all about increasing access to our own spiritual self-esteem so that we recognize we are the oracle. We don't need anyone or anything outside of us to connect us to that. What we do need support with is meeting and releasing those fears that have kept us from knowing that we are one with the mind of God. So the fourth dimension, the channel, the stream of consciousness that moves us from unmanifest to manifest, and intuition as the highest form of intelligence. We are tapped into the quantum mind, all time, all space. We have that capacity. It is built into our biology, which is again why we start with nervous system fitness, why we work with a trauma-informed model. The Institute understands that the biology is the technology of your intuition, and we are all equally, innately blessed with that power. It is our birthright. We are literally built to be tapped into the quantum mind and to have access to all time, all space, all knowledge, all wisdom. Our task is to stop thinking of intuition as something that is external to us, that someone does for us or we do for someone else. We are the only and essential conduit for that intuition. And there is nobody outside of you who knows more about the next best step for your life than you. But the caveat to that is we have to be willing to do the work, to sweat for that, to be willing to bring ourselves into right relationship with our nervous systems, with our understanding of consciousness, and to change the conditions that are confusing us, that are leaving us doubting our intuition, doubting ourselves. This self-reliance is far less sexy and appealing than imagining that there's some magical person out there who just got like more intuitive power than we did. That is an illusion that we use to comfort ourselves because we don't want to take that responsibility to recognize that it is up to us. All we have to do is be willing to create the conditions to meet our subconscious fears, to meet our low self-worth, to meet our dysregulation, and to change our lives so that we are the purest vessel for the receipt of our highest form of intelligence. I am so honored to share all of this with you. And if you want to know more, come and visit the instituteforintuitiveintelligence.com. Learn about our professional certifications if you want to teach others to understand this true revolutionary paradigm of intuition, or entering into Spiritually Fierce, the program for your own personal intuition development so that you feel emboldened and faithful to your intuition and you won't go seeking outside of yourself. You are it. You are infinite, unlimited consciousness, and intuition is the language of consciousness, and that's why it matters.